Working in the biology laboratory can be an exciting experience. The lab can also be quite dangerous if proper protocols, safety rules, and most importantly, common sense are not followed at all times. It is important to start lab professionally by arriving on time. This keeps everyone on the same page, and you won't miss crucial instructions from your TA that can not only dramatically affect the results of your experiment, but also put you or your lab mates at risk. Always be prepared for the day's laboratory exercises, which means reading the handouts carefully before coming to lab. Consider wearing appropriate clothing and shoes before you come to the lab. Try to avoid long necklaces, bulky clothes, and highly flammable materials. To protect your feet from spills and sharp objects, you should always wear closed-toed shoes. Students with long hair should be prepared to tuck it away or put it up during laboratories, especially those involving open flames. Some of the material that we are going to manipulate in the lab are potentially dangerous for your health. That is why eating, drinking, and chewing gum are prohibited in the lab. Leave your food and drink bottles outside of the classroom or close them in your bag. If you want to drink, you should step outside of the lab briefly. Make sure you know where the emergency eye wash, safety shower, and telephones are located in your lab so that you can reach them quickly in case of an emergency. Familiarize yourself with the emergency evacuation route and the location of the rendezvous point outside of the building. Always wash your hands with soap after the lab and each time your hands come in contact with potentially harmful materials. During the lab, it is important to always follow the lab manual and your instructor's directions. If you notice differences between written and verbal instructions, don't hesitate to ask your instructor. Sometimes they will have more updated information than the manual. Being organized is a key part of the success of your experiment. Remember to make notes of what you've done during the lab, keep the work area neat and clean, and put equipment back in its storage place when not in use. Proper labeling of your plates, slides, and other products of your experiment is crucial. Always include the date, your section number, and your initials on the label. This way your samples will be easy to identify and evaluate by your instructors and other students. Remember that some chemicals and biohazard waste must be disposed of safely. Follow the instructions of your TA and observe the labels on waste containers for proper disposal. Some biological organisms, such as bacteria or preserved animals, must be disposed of in special biohazard waste containers. Sharp objects like razor blades, used slides, and broken glass should go into the broken glass container. Don't try to collect broken glass yourself. Inform your TA about the situation. The same rule applies for chemical spills. To avoid contamination, never return unused chemicals to their original containers. Place used disposable pipette tips into marked pipette disposable boxes. Some of the sterilization techniques we are going to perform in this lab involve using open flame. Before lighting the Bunsen burner, prepare and clean your work area. Don't start the flame near equipment such as computers and microscopes. Test the igniter before turning the gas on. Do not touch the metal parts of the burner if you are not certain that it is cool. Never leave the flame you started unattended, and be sure to close the gas tightly when you are done. Several of the laboratory sessions this year will require you to use various equipment to protect yourself and others from potential hazards. This personal protective equipment may include lab coats, safety goggles, and gloves. When directed by your TA, wear disposable gloves while handling potentially harmful chemicals or organisms. While wearing gloves, avoid touching your face, microscopes, computer keyboards, doorknobs, pens, your cell phone, and any other objects that you will handle without gloves afterwards. An important part of each procedure you are going to perform is cleaning up. When an experiment is completed, clean up your work area. If you worked with potentially infectious materials such as bacteria, use a spray bottle with ethanol to clean the surface. Remember to return all equipment to its proper place in the same condition as you took it. Carefully wind cables, cover microscopes, shut down computers, make sure all used materials are disposed of properly, and always wash your hands before leaving the lab. Be aware of your surroundings when you are in the laboratory, and don't be afraid to point out potential hazardous situations to your instructors and classmates. Following these guidelines will make your lab experience safe, productive, and enjoyable.